When Rush lost the legendary Neil Peart, they didn't just lose a drummer, they lost one of the greatest musical minds in rock history. Fast forward to the rumored 50th anniversary plans, and suddenly a new name is at the center of the conversation: Anika Nilles. If you've been anywhere near drum YouTube, you already know. Anika isn't just good, she's elite. Her breakout videos around 2013 racked up millions of views, blending precision, creativity, and a unique rhythmic voice that stood out instantly. But here's the real question, and it's dividing fans hard. Is Anika Nilles actually a better fit than other world-class drummers who could step into Rush's legacy? Today, we're not just comparing skill, we're talking fit, style, feel, legacy, and pressure. Because replacing Neil Peart isn't like filling a normal gig, it's stepping into sacred ground. We'll break down Anika's strengths, her challenges, and stack her up against 5 elite drummers fans keep bringing up in the conversation. By the end of this, you decide. Did Rush make the bold move or the wrong one? Let's start with Anika herself, because there's a reason her name is even in this conversation. Anika Nilles didn't come up through traditional rock bands. She built her reputation online: YouTube, clinics, and global performances. Her breakout around 2013 wasn't luck, it was skill meeting visibility at the right time. Her style? Modern fusion. That means complex subdivisions, ghost notes, odd phrasing, and insanely clean execution. She's the kind of drummer other drummers study. She's also worked with major names like Jeff Beck, which tells you everything about her musical credibility. But here's where things get tricky. Fusion and progressive rock aren't the same language. Fusion is smooth, precise, and often subtle. Rush's music, especially under Neil Peart, was powerful, aggressive, and cinematic. It wasn't just about playing notes, it was about telling a story with impact. The big debate is this: can Anika translate her clean, modern style into the raw, arena-filling energy that Rush demands? According to Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson, early rehearsals suggest yes. Reports say she didn't just play the parts, she understood the intent behind them. That's huge, because with Rush, it's never just about technique, it's about mindset. Before we compare drummers, we need to define one word: fit. Because being the best drummer doesn't automatically make you the right drummer for Rush. Fit comes down to 3 things. First, musical language. Do you naturally speak in odd time signatures, dynamic builds, and long-form compositions? Second, emotional connection. Do you understand how Neil Peart approached storytelling through drums? And third, stage power. Can you command an arena, not just impress musicians? Anika checks some of these boxes easily. Her timing is world-class, her creativity is undeniable, and her control, near flawless. But Rush fans aren't just listening, they're feeling decades of legacy. That's why some argue that a drummer who grew up inside progressive rock might have a more natural connection to the material. So now the question becomes, how does Anika stack up against drummers who have lived in that world for years? Let's start with a fan favorite. Stammen with Mike Portnoy, the disciple. If there's one name that keeps coming up in every Rush discussion, it's Mike Portnoy. And honestly, it makes sense. Portnoy didn't just admire Neil Peart, he studied him. He built his entire progressive style around that influence. From odd time signatures to massive concept albums, Portnoy speaks Rush's musical language fluently. He's even performed Rush tributes live, recreating Neil's parts with accuracy and respect. So on paper, he's the perfect fit. But here's the catch: timing. In 2025, Portnoy officially reunited with Dream Theater, committing to new albums and a global tour. That makes him unavailable. And even if he were free, there's another question. Would Rush want someone so closely tied to Neil's style? Because Portnoy doesn't reinvent the language, he honors it. And Rush might be looking for evolution, not replication. Anika vs. Portnoy. So let's break it down. Anika Nilles versus Mike Portnoy. Portnoy brings authenticity. He understands Rush from the inside out. His playing has that raw, progressive rock edge fans expect. Anika, on the other hand, brings freshness. Her phrasing is modern, her dynamics are subtle, and her approach feels new. Technically, both are elite, but stylistically, they're very different. Portnoy would likely deliver a more traditional Rush experience, closer to what fans already know. Anika might reshape the sound entirely, keeping the structure, but adding a new voice. So who's the better fit? If Rush wanted nostalgia, Portnoy wins. If they want evolution, Anika has the edge. And based on everything we're seeing, evolution might be exactly what they're going for. Next up, Marco Miniman. If Portnoy is the disciple, Marco is the scientist. Known for insane limb independence and polyrhythmic mastery, Marco operates on a different level of coordination. He's worked with artists like Steven Wilson and is widely respected in progressive circles for pushing technical boundaries. But here's what makes him interesting for Rush. He understands space. In a power trio like Rush, every note matters. There's nowhere to hide. Marco knows how to fill that space without overcrowding it. He can go complex, but he can also pull back and let the music breathe. That balance is rare, and it's exactly what made Neil Peart so special. Anika vs Miniman. Comparing Anika Nilles to Marco Miniman is where things get really interesting, because technically, they're closer than you might think. Both are precision players. Both thrive in complex rhythms. Both bring a modern approach to drumming, but their personalities on the kit are different. Marco leans into controlled chaos, pushing limits, exploring extremes. Anika leans into clarity, making complexity feel smooth and musical. For Rush, that difference matters. Marco might push the music into more experimental territory. Anika might refine it, keeping it complex but accessible. So again, it comes down to direction. Do you want to expand the chaos or polish the legacy? 3. Mike Mangini, The Machine. Now let's talk about precision. Mike Mangini. Former drummer for Dream Theater, Mangini is known for one thing above all else: accuracy. His timing is so precise, it's almost mechanical. But don't mistake that for lack of feel. Mangini understands rhythm on a deep mathematical level. He can memorize massive complex set lists faster than almost anyone. And for a band like Rush, where cues and transitions are critical, that's a huge advantage. If you want zero mistakes, night after night, Mangini is your guy. He's the definition of reliability. Anika vs Mangini. So how does Anika stack up against Mike Mangini? Mangini is precision, structure, consistency. Anika is feel, flow, expression. Both can handle complexity, but they approach it differently. Mangini locks everything into place like a machine. Anika lets it breathe, adding nuance and personality. For Rush, that's a philosophical choice. Do you want perfection or interpretation? Mangini would deliver a flawless recreation of the catalog. Anika might reinterpret it, subtly reshaping how it feels live. And that brings us to the final question: what is Rush really trying to do? So, is Anika Nilles the better fit than these 5 drummers? Here's the honest answer: not better in every category, but possibly better for this moment. Mike Portnoy brings legacy. Host Marco Miniman brings innovation. Host Mike Mangini brings precision. But Anika brings something different: perspective. She's not trying to be Neil Peart, and maybe that's the point. Reports from rehearsals suggest she didn't just copy the parts. She understood the music emotionally, stepping into Neil's mindset rather than imitating his hands. That's a big difference, because Rush was never about standing still. It was always about pushing forward. And by choosing Anika, Geddy Lee, and Alex Lifeson, might be making one final statement. This isn't about replacing the past. It's about continuing the story. So now it's your turn. Who would you choose? Drop your pick in the comments